California farmers call this place flyover country. It's only a few hours from San Francisco, but you will likely never see it. You're just going to travel above it on your way to the coast. But while you may never even look down on these fields, make no mistake, you probably eat what's produced here every single day. Take a look in your refrigerator, all right? Chances are the food you're putting on your table tonight, you got vegetables, you got fruits, you got nuts. Chances are they came from right here in the Central Valley in California.
Up you go.
Come here, spend a little time, and this is what you see. Day in, day out, undocumented immigrants working these fields. Farmers call them the backbone of their business, the same farmers who say that Donald Trump was the guy they wanted to see in the White House. We're here to find out what Trump's policies are going to do to make farming better or worse. So, how could farmers like Paul Betancourt, who lives in a blue state, support a man who is threatening to deport the very people they rely on to keep their businesses running? Your entire business requires immigrant labor. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump says, get them out of here.
Yeah.
And you vote for Donald Trump. Why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
You're going to make me see. This is the first time I've ever confessed publicly that I actually voted for him. I've dodged the question for a few months. No. The alternative was unthinkable. Continued pressure from the federal government was squeezing us out. Big issue here is water. We got no help from Washington on water during the drought. And the regulatory burden continues to increase. So continuation of what we had was unthinkable.
But Trump, if he takes the regulations away, he's also going to take your workers away. How do you deal with that?
Well, this is where I've disagreed with him. The idea that we're going to send 11 million people out and then walk them back in is not going to happen. So we need a solution for the whole country where we can bring people out of the shadows so we don't have this problem.
Well, now you sound like a Democrat. You're confusing me.
This is messy. The farmers are not in lockstep. You get 3 farmers together, you get 5 different opinions. And so I have no problem voting for the president and disagreeing with him on trade and immigration because I think he's wrong on those issues.
Nut farmer Paul Wenger also supports President Trump, but he says if the workforce goes, so will the farms.
We like to say your food that's going to be on your table tonight is probably going to be picked by immigrant hands. The real question is it going to be picked by immigrant hands here in the United States and for us in California or in another country?
Does this part of the state even exist without these workers?
No, they won't. You can create a big problem because the whole economy can collapse.
Yeah.
You need the workers here.
Farm worker advocate Horatio Amezquita says the nation's food supply relies on undocumented labor and that deporting them is not just bad for business, it also threatens to break up families. A lot of the people that we saw today, they're good people, they're hardworking people, but you said they're afraid. What are they afraid of?
Well, they're afraid to go to the store, they're afraid to go to the restaurants, they're afraid to go out because they might get deported, and then who's going to take care of their kids?
So, what's the answer? The farmers may be free of some regulations, but will the president listen to them when it comes to their workforce?
My hope for a Trump presidency is, what's his real reputation? He's the deal maker, he's the negotiator, and I'm hoping we can get past the rhetoric, past the tweets, and he can bring people around the table and we can start coming up with real solutions and get away from that polarization.